we're going to get into it today because we do love our fashions. We do love
We
our
do love our
fashions, and we
fashion.
talk about, our sets and how we look so chic. And we have Diana Muturia today, one of my favorite founders, you guys. Oh my gosh. My goodness. One of my favorites, actually, my favorite stories to tell. So we're going to spend this time just getting to know you, Diana, and your founder journey. But I'm so glad you're here. You're looking so fresh and clean, like your company said.
Thank you. I try. As we like our fashion, I have an eye for detail, so hey.
We love our fashion, and that is what we know. Actually, Fashion Week Brooklyn is having their 20th year anniversary coming up this October in New York. So if anyone is in the area, come through. It's going to be at Brooklyn Borough Hall. Lots of fun. As you may or may not know, Fashion Week Brooklyn has served a lot of emerging founders. And, I want to dig deeper into your story because I feel like you were an emerging founder when we found you and then did the article for Medium. And I want you to talk about what that was like coming into this market, right? Coming to America. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
Tell me
let's
more.
start from the start. So a little bit about me is I'm originally from Kenya. I lived my whole life in Kenya till I was 18. And then when I was 18, my mom said, you gotta go. You gotta go to the US and study. And so I came here by myself and I studied math and mechanical engineering. And my last year, my math advisor called me in her office and told me, you don't seem to look like an engineer. And I did not know what that means, but my scholarships went away and I didn't have time to process what that actually means. I started cleaning houses to put food on the table because I couldn't afford even to go back home. And I also just did not want the embarrassment of going home as looking kind of like a failure, even though what was done to me was unfair and it wasn't anything that could actually justify taking my scholarship. So I started cleaning houses and I made a lot of good friends who were also cleaners. I'm very, very intermingled in the cleaning community. It's a big community. And I was like, I have nothing to lose, Let me go to the public library and learn how to code and build an app for my business and maybe it'll help my friends. And in 2 months after I launched, we had like 3,000 users, 2,000 customers, 1,000 cleaners. And I realized, whoa, this is a much bigger problem than I thought. And it just led me to a road where I was the dork or the geek in the cleaning community, built software, also launched CPG products, 9 of them since then. I just finished my 10-year threshold in being in the hospitality industry. So now we have a product right now that we're pushing, which is quality assurance AI for hospitality teams. So cleaners take photos, we parse them through our AI, and then the AI goes against the checklist of whatever that they're using, and it provides a report based on the standard of cleanliness, damages, and missing items, provides a report back to the manager, and then training back to the cleaner. This software is really amazing for Airbnb hosts who are in high, peak season kind of cities or resorts that have peak seasons. So if you have you're ramping up cleaners, you're ramping up college students, for, if it's like a resort when they're skiing, it's usually coming up. If you are actually Clyn.com is where you're supposed to go. Clyn.com, CLYN.com. And if, you're in like a Disney park place and you need to have, people that you need to train really quickly to get them, this is what we're doing. This is the number of properties we need to clean and turn over and whatnot. This is the kind of platform that you probably need. So that's a little bit about myself. It has been a journey, as me and Kajanari were chatting a little bit. I'm a fashion girly. When I dropped out, I did all kinds of jobs. It wasn't just cleaning. I was modeling. I took modeling very seriously. Walked in New York, in LA, in Phoenix, got a contract signed as well. So it's just muscle memory of looking the part. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me. Also went into corporate, went from cleaner to partner business development manager for Cisco Systems for their national SMB sector. And so I've walked many walks, and all of them have kind of like integrated into who I am today.
Oh my God, what a great story. And by the way, like clarify for the people, what does CPG stand for? Those of you who I'm testing y'all's acronyms in business. What's CPG?
CPG is just physical products. It's not software. You can touch it. CPG is clothes. CPG is soaps.
Yeah.
Whatever people buy that is you can touch and feel. Yeah.
I want to talk more about your leap of faith. Something, because this is so sexy. I mean, this has been several iterations since I've seen you, but this dashboard looks beautiful. This is gorgeous for clients that just need to ensure that their spaces are operationally efficient, clean, have that guarantee. I mean, this is really beautiful. First of all, how did you take that leap of faith where you're like, I'm going to go ahead and start coding? Because I want our ladies to know that even though we're fashion girlies and we make it look easy and we're so beautiful, that we could be coders too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can. We can be coders. We can be builders. Just because you like something doesn't mean you cannot like another thing. In fact, I've noticed that the best founders are the ones who have a totally different thing that they are really good in. And then they combine that with another skill. And that's what makes it so unique. You can't make something that is uh, game changing without having different kinds of experiences in life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that sometimes that pain can be used as fodder to have you excel, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I'm excited about the future of Clyn. I'm really excited about that. I know that your recording has stopped. I think we're going to play a short video. And when we get back, we're going to go deeper into the finance because people are like, I'm not good at my numbers. So let's talk about that when we pick up. I want us to jump back in the link and then it will recalibrate from there. Okay. For media coverage, open your free Media AI account today. Simply sign up with your email or continue with Google or LinkedIn. Tell us whether you're a brand looking for publicity or a journalist searching for great stories. Then browse opportunities across television, digital media, podcasts, and live events. Media AI, PR Unlocked. Start free today at media.ai.
Wait for Kajano to be back.
And then we're still live. We picked up. Thank you for joining us once again. I really appreciate it, Diana. From Clyn to reset the room. And it's really all about checking in with you and finding out what do we have to do to make it in today's economy. Things are not seemingly easier, unfortunately. Everywhere I turn, I see people checking their grocery carts to see what they can edit or remove from there to save an extra $20 that they might need for something else. And I'm concerned about the state of affairs, especially for the women that have been pushed out of the economy, let's say, right? From upper administration, like where do they go next, right? Like what advice would you have for somebody maybe newly in the founder or startup market?
Well, I can only speak through my own experience. It is hard. It's very hard. And I've gone through it myself. I'm not an exception. Funding has been the lowest for a very long time. I think the last decade. And so what I would say about this is truth will always lead to freedom, right? The truth will set you free. We always say that. The reason why is if you know exactly what is happening, you can find a solution. But if you hide your head in a hole like an ostrich, you're going to get your neck cut off. So I would say do your research, understand what's going on in your industry, understand what's going on in your job, understand what's going on in your state, understand what's going on in your city. If you understand what's going on, it's so much easier to get a solution. I was just talking to a VC that just funded us, and they were talking about how the funding has been so low. And I was like, I wish I knew this because I've been feeling crazy for the last year and a half. The last 2 years, I've been feeling crazy. And I was wondering, is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with my startup? And once I realized the economy is just so trashed up right now, it alleviated all that stress. Now I can start thinking about, okay, so this is the problem. I need to find a solution. The problem's not me. The problem is not my startup. The problem is not how hard I'm working. The problem is not the direction I'm going. It's just the economy and how it is. Now I can think beyond this economy. I can think about how can I contact people who are VCs outside of the US? How can I leverage investors from different parts of the world? And so I would say is just do your research, understand what's going on, because once you know what the truth is, it's very easy for you to navigate.
Right, exactly. And relinquishing control to the facts, right? Which is why I'm such a stickler, right? And I said, in fact, having run a public relations firm for the last 10, 12 years, my understanding is that most founders cannot afford the 10K retainers. They've been locked out of that media market. So we're going to start to facilitate access. So to that, I would just add, really understanding your industry and looking at the trends also, and thinking innovatively about how you can use the applications that have been provided to you so that you can take advantage of the market. It's the market is available to everyone. Let's just put it that way. The first thing I used to say to my founders is like, open a Robinhood account that belongs to you. Yes, you do have to link it to your bank account because you're transacting monies between that, like for your future. And had even lobbied in Capitol Hill for one of the acts that would help people secure choice, to help people save their money into their 60s. So, they had some form of social security. So we're always thinking about people's benefit. And that's my thing anyway, right? Would you not agree that finance is at the heart of all of this, right? Being able to be influential, political, have a voice, that finance is at the heart of this. Like, how much did it take? How much capital, can I ask, did it say to get you to this point?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's a quote that I was told a long time ago, that when everything is prospering, you save. And then when things are not going well, you spend, because you're going to be forced to spend anyway. Mm-hmm. And that may be not enough for some people right now, because this is like their first really hard recession that they're going through. But you got to understand that this happens every 5 to 7 years. Mm-hmm. Every 5 to 7 years. and it takes maybe 2 to 3 years to recover, sometimes even an extra 5 to recover. And so you'll find your place where maybe you have some debt and your journey is back to zero, and just focus on getting back to zero, right? How can I increase my income? Where can I increase my income from? It's very hard to save if you don't have anything, which is usually the issue that's going on right now, you know? And so the best way is, how can I continue increasing my cash flow is what you need to really focus on, especially at this time. Being liquid is so important. That's what I would say. Do your investments if you have the money. Do your due diligence in seeing where you can, increase your portfolio. But for the ones who don't even have that yet, just figure out how to get to zero. How can you increase your income, your cash flow right now? If you need to move back with your parents, do so. There's no shame in that. If you need to get a roommate, if you need to just start and recalibrate again, no one is holding you to a gunpoint. You can start again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember it clear. I remember moving back to my parents' house and I'm like, I'm doing DoorDash. I took the family car. And then one time in the winter, I bashed the back of the car reversing up a hill on ice. I'm like, forget it. But it brought in the extra 1,200 that I had tickets. We're like, look, babe, this is just not going to work out for you. You have to do something else. So you got to try a ting, as my mom would say, just try a ting.
Yeah.
I love Kenyans, especially because of the running. You guys know how to run far and fast. That distance running, man, that shit is a marathon. That's why I love it. And also my favorite president, being half Kenyan, Hawaiian, little bit of everything. We follow each other on Twitter and he likes my sassy mouth.
There.
Oh my God. So I wanted to sip some tea with you as we do. Okay. Sip some tea. We have what we call is our trash talk. And I'll send you little snippets of this and that. But you had sent me an article and I looked at the article and I said, the title of this is Leave It Alone, because I don't know if you heard about Karoline Leavitt, but she had initiated her resignation several days ago, given that she said she wanted to spend more time with her family. What it was, in fact, was that Trumpy had switched planes mid-air. I think in someone's air, he must have been in Middle Eastern airspace, thinking that Iran would shoot the plane down. And so she came into consciousness that he would have effectively left her there to die, right? And it occurred to her, especially being a new mom, you're just like, my God, I have to protect my life at all costs, because you're protecting a young life, a simple life. And so that's when her consciousness arose and decided this is not worth however much I'm being paid. I don't know what her check is, but what are your thoughts on that?
Projection. Can I use my French?
Can you do it? Can you do it? Can we do it? Because we are bilingual also.
We're multilingual. We're multilingual.
Yes.
Projection is a bitch.
It's a bitch. Projection is a
bitch. If you have not worked on whatever your issues are, you will be walking with it all the time. If you feel like, a certain kind of people are always trying to get you, you're going to do that to others. You're going to harm other people because of whatever you're thinking that they might do to you. And I think it's just what's happening is, you're essentially bombing families and children. So there's a fear that whatever you're doing unto others is going to happen to you. And so I just think this is just a classic, textbook of projection 101,
Well, keep going.
Also, just leaving someone to essentially die is, I don't know, it just goes beyond immorality. It's just, I really don't, when I heard that, I sat with myself for a little while, because it's not that we don't know that this is who he is, right? We know this is who he is, but we never, I think it's been normalized so much that he's only looking out for himself that we kind of just thought this is as bad as it's going to get. And we never thought it would stoop even lower. So it was a really big shock for me. And I hope she's okay. Sometimes we think that if we side with the villain, we're going to be protected, and then the villain doesn't protect you, and that's when you as you said, you come back to consciousness and realize, oh, just because the people who are right, the people who are good, the people who are fighting for good are hurting now, doesn't mean that they're going to hurt all the time. I have to still, you have to fight to be on the right side of history, no matter what that would cost you, because that little cost, which is long suffering, is going to be rewarded at the end. But if you try to side with the bad guys to try to protect yourself, I promise you that protection has absolutely no foundation. You're mute.
You're right. I just want to listen to your words because they are so profound that I just want to hear everything you have to say. But there is no protection for them, right? And what people do, it's a common tactic that narcissists typically use to get you on side. They appeal to your ego, right? With the idea that you're going to go for that sort of bait, and that's what's going to get them through with you. But it's a manipulation tactic for them to get what they need, i.e., be my mouthpiece, be my bulldog, step in front of the press for me, take the bullets for me, take the arrows for me. At a certain point, you just replaceable, right? You couldn't care less, right? One way or the other. And especially with the malignant types, we call it malignant because it could be fatal. You may lose your life, as you have seen with the 20,000 children killed in Gaza, I think it is at this point. And I wouldn't be surprised if it were more than that. I think they've hidden the numbers. It's absolutely disgusting. It should be absolutely disputed at every level. And we are working at the highest levels of government internally to get this resolved for the American people. This is not how it should be. I noticed that you had said something about Texas and their venture ecosystem, because I was often told as a founder, hey, go to Austin, keep Austin weird. Austin's really cool, and go there because that's where founders are getting together. And here comes the launch of Josh's Capital Factory, a classic scrappy tech accelerator, and that over the next decade, he grew it into Austin's largest startup event and co-working space and the central gathering for a lot of founders in Austin. And you're actually in Austin right now. Is that right, Diana?
I am in Austin, yeah.
Yeah. So he executed a major strategy shift by expanding the physical office space and operating the 23,000 square foot Center for Defense Innovation to embed the DoD's Defense Innovation Unit. It was called AFWorks and Army Futures Command directly into the commercial startup scene. And then so the government was paying millions for the space. But apparently, and what I took out of it was it was eventually a direct pipeline to the Pentagon to get all of these founders to build these machines that would kill people, right? Crazy projection. In a crazy twist of fate, his own private plane goes down. I don't know under what circumstances, but wow. I mean, that is something. You can have this money in the bank and several millions in the bank, and you're an asshole and you project your ugliness onto other people. And guess what, boo? It come right back to you. Because that's how it goes. That is how it goes. So
it's very unfortunate. It's really
very unfortunate.
When I read that article, I was really in shock because, as you say, I came to Austin through Techstars, which is a different accelerator, and I immediately fell in love with Austin. I love Austin. The weather is just perfect. The culture is great. But the last few years, there has been this kind of shift that is not for the best. And it's not that it's taking over, but you can feel it. There's a kind of a lingering feeling of like something ain't right, you know? And when that article came out, I was very much in shock. I think what I'm noticing, and I've noticed it for a long time, is founders are now the product. You know, you work them and you burn them out and you tell them the only way we're going to fund you is you go this direction. And then when they burn out, you just toss them out as if they're, you know, they're just another churned founder and bring another one in. And it kind of is abusive to use great talent, unique talent, genius people to build things that are going to harm others on the other side of the world. It just has a really bad taste in my mouth about it. And all my condolences to Joshua's family. Really, what we're talking about here is the intention of shifting to building things that are going to harm others. It's just, it really is very distasteful.
I think exceptionally so. And thank you for using that term. Distasteful would be absolutely the term I would select. I think in quote, was perhaps the best kept secret in Austin startup community. To succeed at Capital Factory meant to stop pitching world peace and start pitching AFWorks, DIU, and Naval X. If a startup couldn't convert millions in government grants into billions in Capital Factory equity, there was simply no business case in supporting them. For you all to think about the intention behind every single company you back. Right now, there's a petition going around that on the 31st, we just stop buying everything, right? To remind each and every one of us that we are collective. We live here. This is our planet that we get to share. And so it is up to us to decide the course and the trajectory, but we will not be going down without a fight. And, you know, malfeasance is never a good way to go. I'm a utilitarian from my philosophy days at University of Toronto. So for me, greatest good for greatest number. And maybe one day I'll sit in as a judge and start ruling on cases individually. But yeah, we have the kids to raise. What is going on? What is going on? Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's good. I think it's good. And I think it's, of course, very, 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 very important for each of us to be conscious of what's happening in the world. I know sometimes it's easy to go down the tech rabbit hole and you see nothing else, but to know of the world and what's happening is absolutely très chic. It's de rigueur. You know, you should know. And if you don't, something's wrong with you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At this time, you know, it's so easy to decide not to, you know, engage and say, you know, that has nothing to do with me. It eventually will have to do something with you, you know? So you rather stand up now. You rather talk about it now.
Correct.
Anyway, this is it's really crazy. And I'm very thankful for Salim, who wrote the article. He's the one who did all that research and put that together. And unfortunately, Capital Factory revoked his membership after reading that. And so it's like they just don't care. And that kind of, it really rubbed me the wrong way. But you know what? I don't have all the answers, but I just know how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we must advocate for all people who are suffering. It's not right? And for you, I mean, you know, as we talk about, and, you know, we're in touch with Don Lemon, the folks at Roland Martin and so forth, you know, how have race relations been impacted by this administration? Have you felt any ill will, non-support? What has your perspective been on what's currently happening as it relates to how Black Americans are treated in the United States?
Gosh, what this administration has done is given people audacity to just be even more rude and just be really hurtful to specifically Black Americans, also Hispanics. I can go down a rabbit hole, right? And so I've just noticed that even with the place that I'm in right now and how hard I've worked, it feels like I don't even know how to say it. Since 2020, something definitely had shifted. something had shifted since then. It's gotten worse. It feels like more people are defaulting to be just bad. It's like it's been normalized. It's been normalized to be rude. It's been normalized to be racist. It's been normalized to be misogynist. All these things that have been normalized are kind of, I don't know, rotting up the society that we're living in. I'm really looking forward to a turn of this where we shift back to being more supportive of each other, being more kind to each other. But right now it's just feeling as if we're still in the gunk of it. I can tell you myself with my experience, it's just been awful. It's been awful.
I am so sorry to hear that. I want to hear your journey. I mean, this is what I'm here for, because a lot of my work as a communications expert, as a PR expert, is to let them hold their own baggage, especially because narcissism is so closely linked to racism, right? The fact that you are up here in your belief system and everybody else is beneath you. It's sick behavior. That's a personality disorder that you would ever believe that to begin with.
Yeah. And
so
the thing about with narcissism is that the person with it, they don't really believe they have it. It's the same thing with racism. Correct. They just don't think they are racist.
They don't. They don't.
I was thinking about this, and specifically us millennials, we grew up saying, we are the better generation. We cannot be like so-and-so in the other generation, right? We get to a point where we are being pinched financially with the economy, and someone's in our face. They're the problem. And then you find that you are now your parents, right? And so
that's right.
It's such a weird pattern where we think we are somehow better, and then we look at the news and we're like, that is a millennial like us who did that awful thing.
Yeah.
So I think we need to do more education. I was talking about the other day, I was just thinking of if racism would be considered a disease, actually, like it's written in paper that it's a disease, right?
Yeah. That's where we need to get to. Mm-hmm.
Where we need to get to.
Yeah.
And
Sweden will do it, I'm sure.
Yeah. They're like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. But we see this in AI, garbage in, garbage out, right? Whatever is in between our ears is also a language model. If the language model is corrupted, we need to fix it before corrupts another language model, which is
Thank you, data scientist. Exactly. Thank you, engineer. You're the engineer, because I'm looking for an engineer to fix the racism problem. It's a social ill. It used to be relegated and castigated to one segment. I was speaking to someone, Joshua, for Congress, actually, a couple nights ago, and I said, I don't think the South has had their good thrashing. And so it's time to reinvoke Malcolm X, which amazing biography I read when I was 16. It's absolutely a rite of passage that every child should. This is our history. This is not just relegated to Black people. So we need to talk about Malcolm X, because you then get to the civil disobedience part, and then finally to the revolution. And we're, at that juncture currently where we need to see something entirely different, because the one thing I know about our generation, we're not just going to sit there and take it and put up with it, because we're seeing all these things happen. And we're like, what do we do now? So now I have to step in the fray and start creating products that are going to fix it. But it is a social ill. It's a mind disease, a personality disorder. It needs to be corrected. And it's trained early, very young. They were showing me images of young Israeli children being indoctrinated early, no different from a cult. The Zionism, it has nothing to do with being Jewish. I have many Jewish friends in my life that I sit down with. So, to castigate someone, apartheid in all of its flavors is never a good thing, and a social ill, as it were, and generally run and comported by narcissists who carry all these other issues. They're pedophiles, they're racist, they're ageist, they hate, they're malignant, all the things that are social ills. The garbage of society, the underbelly, he exposes it. And some people, I suppose Mecca will tell you that it's enlightening, but I don't think they're that clever. I think it just happened to be that when these things came uncovered, I have seen my friends become radicalized and go that QAnon route. It was the wrong route to go. And you see it after time.
Wrong
road. Wrong road.
Yeah.
It was the wrong one.
I think also just how capitalism is set up here in the US. I feel like, unfortunately, it will get to a point where until we can capitalize on being good, it's not going to be top priority.
Well, that's what that article was saying, is that, peace didn't sell. The clickbait sold, the raunchiness. I mean, I would at this point like to get back to Liz Taylor and her weight gain for the tabloid. And Skims with her coca in her shipment.
So and Obama's tan suit.
Can we get back to that? Can we get back to that scandal? Being the barometer and Bill getting his dick sucked by Monica under the table. Can we go back to the simple scandals that we once had?
Man, that was a time.
I can't.
That was a time.
What a time.
That was a time. I want to go back to Vines where, it was funny videos, short videos, not breaking news. Someone else has been shot and this family has been hung. This
family can't find their baby. The girl has gone missing. It's too much. It's so traumatizing. We're all owed a check. We need to claw back that fucking money from this goddamn asshole. Diaper Dawn.
It's just been so bad. So I don't know. I feel like I've got to a point where I'm just like, should I just go to another country? What?
Go have your baby in Barbados. They're giving out checks. They're giving out 5,000.
The moment I stepped in the US, it feels like everyone's just trying to tell me to get out, right? And I'm just like,
so what was that like? Can you give us a scenario? Because I want to see how bad it is. And then I'll show you the technique that Elaine shows us for how to deal with people who make these off the cuff comments designed to hurt you, really.
Yeah.
Projecting their shit. Okay. So talk to me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. All right.
So I got a really funny story for you.
Okay.
I'm coming to the US. Just landed in JFK. I have my bag, now I'm back because I came back. The first time I flew to the US was, I was 17. I came with my basketball team to play at St. Joseph's University in Philly. And so now I'm coming back. I'm 18, turning 19, very excited. And everything, I'm just absorbing everything. I'm 18-year-old. Oh my gosh, I'm flying to a different country. I'm going to study, blah, blah, blah. I get to a point and I'm looking at him. The guy, what are they called? I don't know what they're called. The guy who checks your passports.
Like the security checkpoint officer or the board,
officer, yeah.
Yeah, like the travel, the guy behind the counter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The ticket agent.
Exactly. And he looks at me, he looks at my passport, he looks at me, he looks at my passport, looks at me. And I'm just there so excited, right? And then he says, why are you nervous? And I was like, what? And he was like, that didn't work. You can go. It wasn't even if you go to a different country, the person checking your passport is going to be like, you're from here? Welcome. Welcome to Kenya. Enjoy. Oh, welcome to Thailand. Enjoy. Welcome to the United Kingdom. Enjoy. But as soon as I got here, I was immediately a suspect. Immediately, what are you doing here? How long are you here? It's just so crazy. I also brought my team from Kenya in 2023.
Remember, I saw that on LinkedIn. Yeah, I remember that.
The whole journey was so difficult. I was constantly saying, this is my team. This is my team. The government pulled them aside to check on so and so and so, and they had to be put to the side.
What are they checking?
I don't know. Checking their bags, checking everything. They're going through everything. And I was like, so you're telling me it was just a random check? The government had a random check for 3 Africans and everybody else
It's true.
is not,
Yeah.
who's not white,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
it was a really weird time. And that was like because I've never experienced racism. When you are raised in Kenya, you're just raised
It's a
as a
black
regular
country.
person.
That's right.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was their first taste of like what racism and systemic racism looks like, where everybody's constantly looking at you like you're going to do something wrong or you're dangerous or this or that. And so it was a very weird experience for them. And I kind of felt for them. I felt very sorry for them because I had already normalized this in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
was here for such a long time.
Yeah.
I'm used to walking in and someone's kind of clutching their pearls. I'm used to, in an elevator or in a room, I'm used to if I'm just sitting there, someone is trying to interrogate me. Where are you from? I'm used to that now. I can navigate it and say, oh, I'm from here, and kind of look at them like, what are you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? But for them, it felt like a shift, like a rug was pulled under their feet where they were so excited. Like we got chosen for Techstars. We are
Right.
going to build something great.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get here, it feels like, who are you? What are you doing here? You're not allowed in this room. You're not allowed in this space. And you could just see them kind of shrink. Even their body language, they were standing up straight.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, they kind of like, you can see they're kind of just like shrinking. And it made me really sad and kind of brought back to my conscious of like, yeah, this place it's warped. It's warped, especially for Black people and even Africans. So it's, I have tons of like examples of that, but I've got to a point where I've kind of like checked out in my mind, because if I continue being so stressed out about it, I'm not going to get any work done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other part to that is that you have to supersede despite, which is why they give you the sermon,
My gosh.
which is that you have to be 3 times better and 4 times better and 5. And that's why we're overachievers. And that's why you're fucking jealous as hell. Jealous is because I'm going to be rich as fuck. And I will sit in the fucking country club and interrogate your fucking ass, because I could do that shit because I'm entertained by it, because I've never seen myself as lesser than, and the times that I've had that's been imposed upon me. So I think that's a deliberate sermon that you just gave right there, is you have to just determine what is going to be your mindset about it and prepare for battalion and armor, because we will not be crushed, and we will definitely be overcoming. Our success will be what vanquishes in the end. And like my father, who is a historian, tells me, Africa's rising because the population they're sitting on over 1 billion, and these are kids. These are 15-year-olds, the good majority of them. So where do you think they're going to grow and go, right? And their brethren are all over the world. So as I tell people, it starts with the African person, the first person, it's Lucy. So whether you're melanated, you're not melanated, and they're falling for the trap. So, we need to reinstall a Department of Education and theories around how we raise children according to Piaget and Erikson and Freud, like we had already done that research. But this fucking dummy, he's too stupid. And his GPA was 1.4, and they still put him up there. That Iran said they don't even know who's running the country. As far as I'm concerned, no one is running the fucking country. And if I have to go to the hospital tomorrow and they have to do an aptitude test and ask me who is the president, I will tell them no one. No one is currently.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
No one at the helm.
I feel like I just don't even have the words for it anymore. I really don't have any words for it. It's just terrible. Yeah.
So, as our politicos would say, and Anna Walsh and them, we need to vote like our lives depend on it, because they actually do. And you round up your allies. And when I talk to them, I tell them what's up. I've always told them, this man is a narcissist. He's a racist, and he will try to kill you. Even you, Blondie. Even you, Blondie with the blue eyes. He don't care about you, boo. And that's why you leave it alone. Leave it alone. Like Caroline's last name. Leave it.
Yeah,
My girl.
it's bad.
It's bad. Yeah. However, we will continue to be in our best energies. I'm going to come find you in Austin naturally. You have a community here. You always do. You're one of my most cherished entrepreneurs, and I really do mean that. And if you don't believe me, you see Diana. Didn't we do this one together? We had so much fun.
We
And
had so much fun. Yeah.
yeah, do you remember that time? And it's like, who could have thought the year was 2022? So that was 4
22.
years ago. And look what a difference 4 years can actually make, that you can
Yeah.
make all of your dreams effectually happen. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
It's such a big difference. Sometimes you gotta pause
Yeah.
and look at the progress that you've made.
Yeah.
And we're so busy trying to get to the next goal. At least for me, that's my brain. How my brain is wired is, all right, we solved this problem. Let's get to the next goal.
Mhm.
But now I look back and I'm like, that's so much progress that we've made. That 1% better every day has made a
That
really
difference.
big turn. Yeah.
Mm,
So it's amazing. And it's also amazing to see your growth.
Thank
It's so amazing to see
you.
your growth. It's just
Thank you.
you've just been flourishing, and it's been amazing to watch.
Oh my God, thank you so much. It means so much to me. So much more than you know. I've been, we're mutual fans of one another because I've been following your journey. You're following my journey. Real quick, what are you watching on television? Do you watch TV?
I'm deep in The Chosen right now.
Okay. All right.
I'm deep in The Chosen. So I watched House of David, and then I've been avoiding The Chosen because of course I'm a Kenyan Christian, and I understand the sacrifice Jesus made, but it's always very hard for me. I'm a crybaby as an adult. I never used to cry as a kid. But now as an adult,
Now you're
oh my
letting it out.
gosh.
Now you're free.
My gosh. The first episode of The Chosen, I was already bawling because I was
Yeah.
kind of preparing myself of like that, the peak where Jesus gets crucified. It's very hard for me, and that's why I was avoiding it until I was like, I gotta just do this. Let me just watch this thing. Why am I avoiding it? And I've learned so many lessons so far from it. Like a good one that stands out right now is when Simon, who's before he was called Peter, threw his net. And when Jesus told him, throw your net into the water, and he was like, we've been fishing all night. We've not caught anything. It's not going to make a difference. And his friend was like, just throw the net, And so he throws the net, looks at Jesus like, all right, what do you want? And then the boat started rocking because of so much fish that just appeared from nowhere. And it just told me just every day, just throw your net. Every day, just throw your net. And it was really a very timely lesson for me because, at this time, especially in this economy, everything feels like there's not enough.
Yeah.
There's always never enough.
Scarcity.
There's always taxes. There's always this, always that, always things that I have to pay for. Exactly. But there's not enough to catch. And it was a really good lesson for me to say, I have to trust. If he tells me throw your net, just throw your freaking net.
Yeah.
Just
Do the
throw
work.
it.
Yeah.
Do the work. Show up. Show up
Yeah.
and show up and show up. So yeah, that's as far as I'm watching. I don't have time for anything else. So that's my little delight.
That's beautiful.
And by the way, the next show that I'm going to watch is Reacher. I love Reacher. Have you watched Reacher?
No, I have to get into it. Let me mark
Oh,
it.
it's so
Let me
good.
clock it.
It's so good. It's more on the violent side, the absolute opposite of what I'm watching.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like there trying to solve the mystery for who murdered the lady. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, let me think. Late at night, I don't know what I'm doing, like contributing to the solved mysteries. But yeah, I get it. And what about musically? What are you doing musically? What's in your record player?
Right now, KB, the artist KB, is on repeat a lot. KB has been on repeat a lot. The first time I listened to KB was back in college, and his music was literally just taking me through college. His music is phenomenal. It's kind of like, it just helps you stay grounded, understand that you're not alone, understand that you have the ability that God gave you, and no one should shrink it. And no one should make you feel less than, and no one should make you feel that you're too different just to take up space. So that's the
I
one
like
that
that.
has been in there. And a little bit of Amapiano. Amapiano is always a good,
Okay.
yeah. DJ Makota, Romeo Makota is like he is in my playlist
Primo?
every day.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
really love
girlfriend.
that.
I love that. Well, what Elaine tells us to do with our narcissists, you know, they're good at the part downs, like, you've always had a problem with money. You know, the flyway contact, you've always had a problem with time. You're never, you know, available for anything. You know, the flyway. And so you then repeat, you use a technique called mirroring, where you state back what they've actually said to you that is so hurtful. And you're not supposed to respond ultimately, but you know, in an environment where you're working with someone or have to interact. Well, I heard you say this. Can you please elaborate on that? Forcing them to, in fact, take the ownership of what they've said and hold that damage inside of them and then figure their way out of like what it was that's upsetting. Because, you know, of course we're going to have disagreements. We're human beings, but there's a tactful way to say to someone, this is how I feel about a certain thing. You know, when this happened, it made me feel in this type of way. So I'm just asking, going forward, can we do it this way? It's completely tactful. It's non-confrontational. So being able to be direct is also, you know, a leadership quality that I expect in all you founders out there, those of you who are listening, but also being able to handle conflict in ways that are not destructive and send you into oblivion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, Kajenwa, ask them to clarify what they meant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it gives them a moment to be like, wait a minute.
What did I mean?
I got caught, you know, being shady. I got caught, or I'm catching myself right now where my heart is. The way I'm thinking right now is actually not good. So asking them to clarify usually does that trick. Not necessarily engaging and saying, well, you are like this, right? It never goes anywhere.
It never goes. And that's what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
It's a fusike. You're like, well, I didn't do that thing last week. And you're like, what are we talking about? We've gone on to something completely different. And now I'm pulling out my text message. And the original problem has not been handled. So it's really, really important to be decisive when you do decide to street fight. Because I'm a street fighter. I told them very clearly, I have the book smarts
and the street smarts. I got both. Yeah, we can go that route.
We can go toe to toe.
We got things to do. So
I'll bring you where I live.
The high road. You know what? On that topic, for a long time, especially in my 20s, I used to walk away a lot. If someone tries to trigger me, I used to walk away a lot. It took me so much for me to turn back around and crash out. And now in my 30s, I just have way less patience. And so if someone tries to be shady, someone tries to say something, as you said, immediately, can you clarify that? I'd like to know, where did you get that idea from? I'd like to know where you're coming from, right? And it's not a way of kind of being confrontational, but it's saying, hey, you cannot talk to me the way you think you can. You know, it's going to be settled right now, right here, right?
Today.
And it's a nice,
you're going to learn today.
Right, yeah. And
yes,
so
I'm a Garveyist, you know, my parents were born around the time of Marcus Garvey, so don't blame me.
Yeah.
We're going to have to train this in correctly.
Yeah. And if you make someone uncomfortable, that's not your problem either. So,
well, you know what I love about you, and then we're going to close. This has been absolutely delightful. Is Diana, you're not even only responsible for cleaning up the physical space. You're going to even be the entrepreneur that helps us clear up our mind space, that you clean our mind share of this mental illness, this disease. that our populace has. They don't have this in Barbados. They don't have this in Kenya. This is a uniquely American problem and it needs to get fixed. We need to clarify that it is a mental illness. It needs to be cleaned. And I
Yeah.
think you're a great entrepreneur to lead that on the side. Unbelievable. Diana Muturia, often referred to in the context of her startup Clyn, y'all, tech founder, entrepreneur, and AI operations and management platform. She made it, y'all. And I'm really so blessed and grateful to have you on. Will you come on again?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight. All right, my doll. I will talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Kajenwa.
Thank you, my lovey. Bye for now. Hold on.